What's up guys, Alex here for another Photoshop tutorial. This one we're going to be creating a basic logo. So we're going to go into Photoshop, File, New. We're going to make it 1280 by 720. So this is with height, it's all pretty self-explanatory. And then resolution is going to be 772, which is web resolution, like for web images, which is most likely where your logo is going to be uploaded. And make sure it's in pixels, not in inches or anything else. Pixels, 1280 by 720. I always set my background to transparent. And yes, you can also, if you want to make logos in the future or something, you can hit save preset and then just, say this is logo or 1280 by 720, which I like to do. I just like to name them by the size they are. So 1280, 720, let's just save preset. Learn something new today, so we'd just go down if we wanted to do it again. Oh, there it is, 1280 by 720. Hit OK, and here we are. So the first thing we want to do is create a background for our image. And we're going to be using gradients again. So we're going to go into our gradient tool, and if it's not out already, click on the paint bucket, drag it, gradient tool, click it, there you go. We're going to click on our box up here, and then we're going to go, I already have a gradient preset that I want to use, but you know what, let's make a new one just so you guys know. So we're going to click on this top left foreground to background, and then we're going to click on this bottom little box here, and this changes the color, and then we're going to click color, and we're going to select white, and then we're going to select on the second gradient stop. These are called color stops, by the way. So we're going to select the second color stop and change this to a light gray. And then we're going to hit OK. And again, we're going to bring our rulers out, snap them 50-50, get as close to the center as you can. Okay, it's actually backwards, so we're going to hit Control Z. I have the reverse check mark checked, so we're going to uncheck that, go back to the center, click, and drag out to the corner. Doesn't have to be too precise, and then we're going to hide our rulers by hitting Control H. So this is our background for our logo. We're going to go to the new layer icon. Then we're going to select our text object. We can use just click text, click the little T. A lot of people drag text boxes, but I don't like that, so I'm going to do it my own way. So I'm just going to click, and then we're going to type in whatever your whatever you want yours to say. Now you'll see here mine's a little messed up. Text is all over each other. This can be changed if we click here. These are our character options. So we have a couple different things here. We have the size of the text. We have the height. If I was to hit enter and start typing here, this changes this. So make sure you have it highlighted when you're changing these options. So I like auto because it just does whatever the font tells it to do. And then this is the tracking, and then as we move this way, it's spaced out this way, closer, whatever. It gives you a little bit more control over your font. This actually makes your letters skinnier, bold, italic. These are all just options you've probably seen in other word editing programs. This changes how tall the actual text is, not the spacing, the vertical scale. And then this is the color. So let me look through a different font, which we do by clicking up the drop down menu up here. I'm gonna find Gotham. So let's make this smaller, which you can click in here too, which also is how big the font is, and you can scroll, which I like doing. Didn't change it all, so let's go hit Control A to select it all, and then back to the font we want, and then Okay, let's just delete this and do it again. What happened here was I didn't have all of the text selected when I messed with these options, so now I'm gonna just select it all and do it again. Can't spell my own last name. There we go. I'm gonna delete this text here. And then I'm gonna scroll it until it takes up most of this. So I kinda like that size. And then I'm gonna make this bold by clicking this. Actually, I don't like the bold. So, again, what we did in a little summary was clicked on the T, which is the type tool, and then we typed out some text, changed the font by using this drop-down menu, and then if your font has if your font has styles, like this one has styles, you can go through and change them here. So this is where I'm going to edit this. Oftentimes they won't, but if you went and installed a font somewhere else, then they will. Most of the time. So font here, font style here, font size here, and then this is also if you want it aligned a certain way, and then this is the color. So I'm going to set this to white even though you can't see it for now. And then here was the character options, so spacing from the breaks, and then spacing in between the letters or the tracking, and then the actual width of the text, and then the height of the text, and then bold, italic, etc. So now we're going to go into our layer style here by double clicking not the text. If you double click the actual where it says here, it'll just change it. So you have to double click to the side. And then here are all where a lot of the text magic happens. First thing I want to do is add a stroke so we can see what we're doing. So I'm not going to just check the box, but I'm going to click on the word stroke. And then we're going to click, and then I scroll to lower this a little bit. Never do fat strokes. They always look, I don't like that, it looks gross. So I like 1-2 pixel strokes. And then we're going to add a gradient overlay. And what this does is, hold on, my Photoshop seems to be lagging for reasons unknown. Okay, so this does the same thing as, it just adds a gradient. A gradient just means it's a color fades from one color to the next. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this to try a couple of these. I like black to gray. So what we would do is, so you'd be in the default, we're going to do black, and then we're going to change this color stop. We're going to just click this stop, and then a lot of people, what they'll do, just a warning, they'll click somewhere else and add more that they don't want. Just hit delete, and then select it, and then hit delete. So we're going to select this color stop, select the color box, and then we're going to make it darker, dark gray. And we're going to hit OK. And we're going to hit OK again. And what I want to do is actually mess with the text a little bit. So we're going to select it, and we're going to make it a little closer. There we go. Hit Control T, and then this is the transform tool. So this lets you transform it however you please. Now that looks, you'll often warp your text, and then you hit enter, and it looks ugly. So Control Z, Control T again to get back into this menu. Hold Shift while you're dragging, and it will constrain the proportions, meaning it will keep the same ratio, so you don't stretch your text out in an ugly way. And then this also gives you the option if you wanted to tilt. So you hover over the corner box, and it lets you move the left and the right. You hover over the side box, and it makes you stretch it, just horizontally. These boxes obviously just stretch it vertically. But when you see it's got the corner, you can twist it. So if that's what you want to do, you can do that. So when you're done, press enter. And another thing, if you don't press enter, it won't let you do anything else. So you gotta press enter. And then Right now this is okay, but it's looking a little boring, so I want to give it a little shadow. So, once my Steam notification goes away, we're going to add a new layer, drag it under our text layer, and then we're going to go into our shape option, which this could be any one of these, but you click, drag, and then go to ellipse tool, and then set that to white. So you can either change the color up here, or you can just change it to whichever one of these front ones is down here. So let's just, for tutorial purpose, go change the color to white, press OK. Now we're going to click, and we're going to drag, just something like this, a very, very skinny ellipse. Now this kind of is giving us the effect we want. So we're going to select the layer and we're going to move it around. And then what I'm going to do is go to Filter, and while we have the shape selected, Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. It's going to ask you to rasterize it, which basically means it's going to go from a vector, which is kind of like points on a graph, so it won't be pixelated, to actual pixels. So you're going to hit OK, and we're going to add, well, that 4 pixel blur looks okay. And then what I'm going to do, so 4 pixel blur, so what we did there, I kind of went too fast. We rasterized this by going Filter, we went Blur, and then Gaussian Blur, and we hit OK, and then it asked us if we wanted to rasterize it. We said OK, and then we said 4 pixel blur on the radius here, and then we hit OK. So now we're going to double click and go back into our layer style, and then we're going to click the color overlay word. We're going to change this to black. We're going to hit OK. That looks more like a shadow. Let's bring down the opacity. And then we're going to turn it down a little bit. I kind of like that. And so that's the tutorial basically for today. We can get into more advanced things to make your logo look a little less plain, but for now, this is it. This is the logo. Now, if you want to center it, what I would do is take your text, hit Control A, and it's going to select all of this. Go to your Move tool, which is this tool up here, and then these up here are alignments. So this one aligns it top, middle, bottom. So we're going to align the top, or the middle, and then we're going to align horizontal middle. And then what we're going to do is Control D to deselect, and then we're just going to line our shadow up here. So I'm going to name this Shadow, and then we're just going to, again using the Move tool, we're just going to arrow over left or right until it looks okay. Up and down, left or right, whichever looks alright. So I kind of like it there, which wasn't much of a move. But then again, Control S. Let's make a new folder. Logo tutorial. And then next time we're going to come back in here and show you how to make custom brushes to give this some flair. When you save in a Photoshop format, which we just did so we can mess with this for the next tutorial, it's going to ask you to maximize compatibility, which means you'll be able to use this with older versions of Photoshop. So just say OK, and then that's it for now. See you guys.